When a waitress was fired for spending her own money to feed a starving stranger, she thought her life was over, until the roar of over 100 Harley-Davidson motorcycles shattered the night silence on her quiet Oregon street. Leather-clad bikers dismounted carrying bundles of cash, turning her from unemployed to a fully funded nursing student in one extraordinary evening. But what had that hungry stranger whispered to his brotherhood that mobilized an entire chapter to track down one small-town waitress? Under the buzzing fluorescent lights of Mel's Diner, Lynette Morrison, 26, wiped down tables in the pre-dawn quiet. She had been saving for 3 years in a mason jar hidden behind her radiator, $237 in crumpled bills and coins, for nursing school. Her mother's illness had forced her to delay her dreams and choose survival over education. The acceptance letter sat unopened on her kitchen counter beside unpaid bills and a photo of her mother in nursing whites. At 4:17 a.m., the bell chimed. A rain-soaked man in a patched leather jacket stumbled in, patches from Sturgis, Daytona, Route 66. He counted quarters and dimes on the counter for coffee, 55 cents. He was 30 cents short. His shoulders sagged. Lynette recognized the familiar look of pride battling desperation. She had seen it in her own mirror. Without hesitation, she added her last tipped quarters to his pile and slid him a steaming cup plus a slice of day-old apple pie that would have been thrown out anyway. "Thank you," he said, the words heavy with more gratitude than 30 cents should carry. The morning supervisor, Dale, arrived at 7:30. He spotted the missing pie slice, the 30-cent shortfall in the register, and the empty coffee pot. His face reddened. "You gave away inventory," he said, holding up the receipt like evidence in a trial. "Company policy is clear, no freebies, no exceptions. This isn't a soup kitchen." Lynette tried to explain about the man's hollow eyes and rain-drenched leather, but Dale cut her off. "Clean out your locker. 40 hours a week for 2 years, double shifts, holidays, erased by 30 cents and a slice of pie." She walked home past the community college she'd never attended, past the pharmacy where her mother's medications drained what little they had. At home, the mason jar felt impossibly light. Her mother's weak voice called from the bedroom. "How was work, baby?" "Fine, Mama. Just fine." Evening fell. Lynette sat on the porch steps, staring at the streetlights, wondering how to tell her mother she'd lost another job. She thought about the stranger, whether the coffee and pie had made any difference at all. Then the air changed. A deep vibration rose from the ground, traveling through the concrete and into her bones. At first she thought thunder. But it grew, mechanical, rhythmic, precise. Windows rattled. Car alarms screamed. Porch lights flicked on up and down the block. The sound resolved into the unmistakable synchronized roar of dozens, then over 100, Harley engines. Headlights appeared at the end of the street like a string of fallen stars. Chrome gleamed under the lamps as the convoy rolled slowly down her quiet residential block in perfect formation. Riders sat tall in leather vests heavy with patches, faces serious beneath helmets. Neighbors emerged in bathrobes. Children pressed faces to windows. The lead rider stopped in front of her house, throttled down, and removed his helmet. Gray hair, weathered face, the same man from the diner, now dry, determined, purposeful. "Ma'am," he called. "Name's Jake. That was my brother you helped this morning." Lynette's breath caught. The defeat she'd seen in his shoulders at 4 a.m. was gone. "Nobody should lose their job for showing kindness," another rider said, stepping forward with a thick stack of $20s. More approached. Saddlebags opened. Envelopes, handfuls of crumpled bills, quarters, dimes, 50s, hundreds passed hand to hand through the crowd. Money flowed in waves, contributions from toll booths, truck stops, and highways across states she'd only seen on maps. The pile in her arms grew heavy, enough for tuition, books, living expenses, everything. Jake met her eyes. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness create the biggest ripples. One by one, riders touched their hearts in silent salute before mounting up. Engines coughed to life. The rolling thunder built again, purr to roar, as over 100 motorcycles pulled away in formation, taillights fading around the corner, leaving the street vibrating and the night smelling of gasoline and possibility. Lynette stood on the porch holding more than money. Proof that compassion was currency that multiplied. That brotherhood could appear from nowhere when least expected but most needed. She finally opened the acceptance letter. She had been accepted into the nursing program. Her mother appeared in the doorway, wrapped in the old family quilt. "What was all that noise, baby?" "Just some friends stopping by," Lynette said, helping her to the porch swing. They sat together under the stars. The nursing uniform in the old photograph no longer felt like a taunt. It felt like a promise about to be kept. Lynette looked at the money, then at the sky, understanding at last. Her dream of healing others had begun the moment she chose to ease a stranger's hunger. Kindness, once released, returns in ways no ledger can predict.